Benjamin Cooper here, and I'm going to teach you how to do all of this. Knife work techniques that will raise your cooking game to the next level. I'm going to take you through how to roll cut some hard vegetables, cutting of some chilies, hard ingredient knife work, things like galangal, ginger and lemongrass. In front of me, you'll see a series of knives. This and this, essentially different versions of the same knife. We have a shorter 24 centimeter and a longer 30 centimeter chef's knife. I have a cleaver that I use for harder vegetables and for meat and poultry work. And I have a Japanese veg knife that I use for the softer vegetables and some refined knife skill stuff. Alrighty, hard veg. Knives, they're dangerous, they're sharp, be careful, okay? I always like to take that root section out of the center of the pumpkin so that I've got a nice stable base. And I'm gonna cut this into some beautiful wedges. I'm gonna quickly scoop the seeds out. And then we're just gonna, for the pumpkin, we're just gonna change the angle slightly as we go, creating beautiful geometric shapes with multiple sides that will, when we roast, will result in the vegetable having beautiful crisp edges, caramelized edges, etc. You'll see why we call a roll cut with this technique more. So we slice on the angle, we roll, you've now got that cut side exposed, we roll, and as we roll through, you're getting more and more beautiful angles on this. All right, next essential skill, how to cut chilies. Large reds, I've got scuds. I'm gonna show you techniques for both. We'll go through that roll cutting technique again. This is great for stir fries and curries. And we just roll cut through. Now, if you're not a huge chili fanatic, all the heat is in the seeds, okay? So if you want to start eating more chili, but you're worried about it being too spicy, roll cut it and then just scoop those seeds out, okay? Next technique we'd use for fine garnish, all right? We just take the end off, we slice through the center, grabbing a spoon, teaspoon or a tablespoon, and we just drag it through to get all those seeds out. This is a real tricky bit. Again, hand flat, and we're just taking our knife in and we're removing what we call the pith of the chili. And we're basically just using a sawing motion to come through the chili. So the hand stays flat and we're just sawing through. And from there, we can slice that down into julienne. And the other, probably most common technique for slicing chilies is the fine slice, where keeping the finger really close in, we're using this part of our finger as a guide, right? And if we curl this nail bed in slightly and have this vertical, knife runs up and down here, fingernail back in under, pretty much impossible to cut yourself. The knife just follows that path. We decide how thickly we want to slice it. So for salads, I'm going finer. For curry garnish, for stir fries, I might just go that little bit thicker. So there we have red chili, and that's large red chili, green chili, etc. And that there basically covers off every technique you'll need for cutting chili. All right, next technique, and this one gets tricky. This one is where you really need to spend some time practicing to get the absolute best out of the ingredients, right? There are a whole number of ingredients that would seem at first glance inedible. If you're lucky to find galangal that is super pink like this and we're making pastes, you could definitely just slice this one without peeling. If, however, finding galangal with beautiful soft pink outer flesh is not so lucky, we're gonna peel it, all right? Now, I just run through with a paring knife and I cut all these off. As before, when doing things like the pumpkin, you want to give yourself a stable edge from which to operate, right? So that this is sitting nicely. And I'm going to start by slicing through. Right, and then once I've got those slices, we'll just layer that up and we're going to julienne. And there, again, if you have a close look at this, you'll see what was a largely unpalatable or inedible ingredient suddenly rendered edible and incredibly aromatic and delicious. Ginger, same family, not quite as fibrous. So this one's a little easier to work with. And again, if you find yourself at the right time of year when young ginger is around, you are likely to be able to use it without having to peel it. So we peel our ginger. We can take the ginger this side and just very finely slice into beautiful ginger slices. Or we may slice it down further and do the julienne technique. So again, layer it up, slice through. So we end up with that there. That's beautiful julienne. That's amazing as a garnish or through stir fries or through salads. Or we might have a tartare or a dish that requires a diced ginger, in which case we take our julienne and then we turn to the side. And we come through and we have this beautiful dice. So that there is our ginger. Next ingredient, lemongrass. I love lemongrass, use a truckload of it. The outer leaf or the outer sheath of the lemongrass, we peel off 1 to 2 layers, and that just takes off the most fibrous, the woodiest part, and gets you into the sweet center. From here, I'm just gonna take that root piece off. We cut from the bulb end, okay? If you're buying this fresh, you'll have long stalk ends. The top stalk piece, I tend to sort of cut off, discard. We use this piece here. So we're cutting this part here, goes in our pastes, goes in our garnishes, goes in our salads. This part here, we might bruise it and add it to things like rendang curry as an aromatic component. We use our finger as our guiding edge again, and we very, very, very finely slice our lemongrass. And then we have these pieces that we can also slice through lengthways, and we can bruise those pieces, put them on the grill, use them to steam fish under, etc. Okay? There's our hard ingredients. 3 of the hardest ingredients in the Thai kitchen. My other favorite ingredient in the kitchen, kaffir lime leaf, we use it a lot. If we're using it in our curries, we might take it like this and just scrunch it up, smack it a little bit. It just releases the aromas. You'll smell it instantly. We're gonna take our leaves and we're gonna stack up about somewhere between 4 and 6 leaves, depending on how thick they are and how big they are, right? So we've got them all layered up as so. Then we fold them along the solid vein, and then we fold them again. So we fold it in half and then in quarters, and we end up with this little parcel of leaf. From there, taking our time, we slice that as fine as is humanly possible. And we have this insanely beautiful, super fine, angel hair-like lime leaf julienne. That is ridiculously, almost pungently aromatic. So there we have hard, essentially unpalatable ingredients rendered completely edible and entirely delicious. You know these techniques, your next dinner party is going to be amazing.